Hello students, hope you are all safe at your homes. So now we have to continue with our next topic, that is Newton's second law of motion. To study Newton's second law of motion, we have to understand an important term which is known as momentum. It is defined as the quantity of motion contained in any object. That means if an object is moving, then how much motion we can consider in that object. It can be understood with the help of some examples how much impact any moving object produced, that is given by momentum. Okay, this is a physical quantity which is depending upon mass and velocity. So impacts produced by the objects depends on their mass and velocity. Which objects? Which are moving objects. That means they must be having some velocity. Okay, for example, the impact produced by a moving truck. Okay, if that whether the truck is moving slow or the truck is moving fast, truck is very heavy, so it must have some mass. And if the truck is having small velocity, suppose 5 meter per second, then it may kill a person when it hits a person, or it may damage a car when it hits a car while moving on a road. Okay, so how much impact the moving truck is producing? The impact is very high, so that impact is measured in terms of momentum. Okay, and that is represented by small p. Fine, the momentum value is very high, so that is why the impact is more, we are saying. Okay, so how the momentum can be high? If the mass is high or the velocity is high, right? Or if both values are very high, then impact will be very large, or we can say momentum is very high, right? So suppose in this example of a truck, the mass will be very high and velocity, even if the velocity is very low, like 5 meter per second or 10 meter per second, the impact or momentum will be more. But if you take a small cycle, okay, and its velocity 5 meter per second, the same as truck, so mass is less but velocities are same, right? A truck is moving with 5 meter per second and a cycle is moving with 5 meter per second velocity. So what is the difference? Difference is one is having very less mass and one is having very high value of mass, right? So what will be the impact because of that bicycle? The impact will be very less. If the bicycle hits a car, there will be no damage or negligible damage. Okay, so the impact of that object will be very less, which is having less value of mass and less value of velocity. That means the momentum was less, right? So this is how we can understand momentum. It can be understood in terms of impacts produced by the moving objects, right? So what is momentum? That we have understood, we should know the SI unit of this momentum. Okay, this is very important quantity with respect to second law of motion. So what will be its SI unit? Its SI unit will be kg meter per second. It is similar to this mass and velocity. Mass is having SI unit as kg and velocity is having SI unit as meter per second. So combining both, we are having a unit as kg meter per second. There is no special name given to the unit of momentum p. Okay, so it is a vector quantity also. Why? Because velocity is a vector quantity, so that is why it is having some direction. So the direction of the momentum will also be the same, right? So momentum we need to understand very strongly to understand the second law of motion, because it is directly related to the momentum. Now we have to understand one important thing. From first law of motion, we know that whenever we are applying any unbalanced force F, then we can change the velocity of an object, right? Or we can change the state of any object. If the force F is applied to change the velocity of an object, then it means that force can change the momentum of an object also, because what is momentum? Momentum is mass into velocity. So if velocity is changing, that means momentum is also changing. So we can say from here that when force is applied on any object, what kind of force? Unbalanced force, then it can change its momentum. So how it is changing the momentum with respect to time? If we find out this, that is coming out to be directly proportional to the change in momentum. Change in momentum is represented by P2 minus P1. Suppose P1 is initial momentum of the object when the object was having initial velocity, and then after applying force the object has got a particular final velocity, then it is having some other momentum, that is final momentum. So what is the change? Change will be final momentum minus initial momentum. So force will be directly proportional to this change in momentum. That means whenever we are applying force, there must be some change in momentum because of change in the velocity. Earlier the velocity was u, from u the velocity has been changed to v. So that is why the momentum has been changed. Okay, so this is very important to understand that when a force is applied, unbalanced force is applied, it is directly related to the change in the momentum. So according to that, what is the statement of this second law? So second law is saying the relation between force and that momentum that I have discussed just now. Okay, so it is saying that the rate of change in the momentum, remember the change in momentum, that is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force and in the direction of force. Okay, the change in momentum will be in the direction of force. That is obvious, because when I am applying force on this pen in this direction, the movement will be in this direction. So momentum will also be changing in this direction only. Okay, so second law has a particular statement. We can express this second law in the form of mathematics. That means there is a mathematical expression for the second law of motion also, that we can prove also. So what will be the mathematical expression according to this statement? The rate of change in momentum. Change in momentum. Change in momentum is P2 minus P1. Okay, and what is the rate? Rate means with respect to time. So rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force, that is F. So mathematically we can express second law like this, and from this relation we can find out a very important formula which gives us the relation between force and acceleration. Okay, remember acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but change in velocity upon time. If velocity is changing, that's what we were talking about here. When force is applied, the velocity was changing, and if velocity was changing, the momentum was changing. So if velocity was changing, there must be some acceleration. This is what is acceleration. So velocity is changing, that means there must be some acceleration with respect to time we are considering. So it will give us, this concept will give us the formula of F is equals to m multiplied by a. How we can derive this formula? That we are going to do it right now. So mathematical formulation of second law of motion that we are going to derive. For deriving this, we have to consider an object of mass m. Suppose this is an object, a rectangular box having mass m, and it is moving along a straight line with initial velocity u. Okay, and when force is applied, suppose a constant force F is applied in this direction, then it is uniformly accelerated to give us the velocity v. When the force is applied in this direction only, then its final velocity becomes v, and whatever time it is taking to change its velocity is t. Time taken to change this velocity is t. So in the previous case, when the force was not applied, initial velocity was u. So according to the momentum formula, p is equals to mass into velocity. What is initial velocity? That is u. So initial momentum will become p1, that is m into u. Now after applying the constant force F, it becomes final momentum, that will be m into final velocity. So it is final momentum. So we are having initial and final momentums, right? Now if I write the change in momentum according to this, change in momentum, that will be p2 minus p1. Okay, and the change in momentum can be converted into rate of change in momentum over here. So what will be rate of change in momentum? Rate of change in momentum, I will just divide by t to make it rate. Rate of change in momentum is this. Okay, now rate of change in momentum according to second law, we have just now stated second law, that rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the force. So rate of change in momentum is this, so F will be directly proportional to this. It is the mathematical expression of that statement that we have done just now. Okay, now from here the actual steps comes into picture. What is P2? From here P2 is mass into final velocity. So I put the value from that equation, mass into velocity minus P1. What is P1? Mass into initial velocity. Mass into initial velocity divided by time. So it is directly proportional over here. Here mass m is same for, because the object is same, so m can be common, v minus u divided by t. Okay, so what is this v minus u divided by t? This is very simple. This is nothing but acceleration. So from the formula of acceleration, v minus u upon t, we can put this term as acceleration. So it will be m into a. So F is directly proportional to mass into acceleration, right? Now it is coming out to be directly proportional. If I want to remove this proportionality sign, then I will convert it into equality sign, and I have to multiply this term, right side term, with a constant of proportionality factor, and then I can write down it like this. So F is equals to KMA, right? KMA, where K is constant of proportionality. Okay, so constant of proportionality, it is having value as 1. It is an experimental value, and the unit of force, that is SI unit, Newton, is chosen so that the value of this constant k becomes 1. Okay, so when k is equals to 1, then what is the formula? Then this equation becomes f is equals to, put k1, that is m into a. This is a very important formula, very important formula according to numerical purpose and according to concepts also. Okay, so this formula, how to derive this formula, that we have done in this, on this page, right? Now from this formula we can define the unit of force also. How to define the unit of force? What is the unit? The unit of force is Newton. And how do we define that? We can define using this formula. Unit of force is Newton. If mass of the object that we have considered is 1 kg and the acceleration produced in that object is 1 meter per second square because of the force, then that force must be 1 Newton. So this is how we can define 1 Newton, or we can define the unit of force. So from 1 F equals to ma, we can define the unit of force. So 1 unit of force is 1 Newton, and that will be mass 1 kg, acceleration 1 meter per second square. Okay, so how do we define it? I am just writing the definition. 1 Newton. Here we can define 1 Newton very easily. 1 Newton is defined as the amount of force that produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in an object of 1 kg mass. Okay, so the unit of force we all know, that is Newton. The unit of force here can also be said as kg meter per second square. Okay, Newton, that is unit of force represented by N, is equivalent to kg meter per second square according to this formula. This is a very basic formula for force, and this is very important relation between force and the acceleration produced in any object. Now there are few examples based on the second law of motion. These are very important examples, that's why I am discussing over here. A cricketer catches fast moving ball by pulling his hands backward. Now why does it happen? We always see a cricketer when he is catching a fast moving ball, he is pulling his hands backwards. A diagram is given, or we can say a photograph is given in your NCERT book regarding this example. I would like to show you like this. Okay, so there is a cricketer, a fast moving ball is coming, and he has to move his hands backward when he is catching. Okay, so according to the second law, we can explain that why he does this. According to second law, we have seen that F is equals to, or F is directly proportional to the change in momentum with respect upon time, right? When the time is increasing, the force or the impact force will be decreasing, right? So according to this formula or the second law, we can say that the cricketer increases his time of catching the ball, which is changing its momentum from a fast moving ball to he is making it stop. Okay, from a fast moving ball with having high velocity to zero velocity, you can say. So the change in momentum from P1 to P2 is very high. The change is very high because the velocity is very high of a fast moving ball, then the player is making it stop, so velocity becomes zero. So in a very less time, this change in momentum, high change in momentum is taking place. So the force will be very high. It has to apply the force from his hands, very large amount of force. So the impact of the stopping of ball will be very high. If we increase the time, the impact may be less, so it will become lesser. So that's what we will give the reason over here. He increases the time during which high velocity of the ball decreases to zero, and therefore the force decreases and the less impact on hand. Right, now in the second example, a high jump athlete is made to fall on a cushioned bed. This is a similar example. In this case also, with the cushioned bed, one thing is he is increasing the time to stop. So suddenly if he stops on a hard bed, then what happens? The impact or the force will be very high. So he may get injuries. Okay, so the force decreases and there will be less impact on the body. Right, now the third example is of karate player who can break the slab of a ice very easily. How he can do? A karate player can break the slab by decreasing the time. Here I would like to clarify over here. In the third example of karate player, when the time is decreasing, that means he is making his hand move very fast, so that the force will be very high. Okay, so the time is decreasing and the force will be increasing. Right, the time is decreasing, force is increasing, so he is able to break the slab of ice. So what we will explain in this example, that karate player decreases the time of action and therefore the force increases because of the more impact. Okay, now our next concept related to the second law is our first law contained in the second law. So we can prove from the mathematical expression of second law that first law is contained in second law. First law we have studied and second law also we have studied. So we can prove this. So what is mathematical expression of second law? F is equals to m into a. So from this expression we can write down this in another terms as acceleration is v minus u divided by t. Okay, so that is equal to f. So now if I make t over here, so that will be ft is equals to m v minus u. Now when force is, if we consider force equals to 0, then what will happen to this equation? Force 0, that means this side 0, and that is equals to m v minus u. That will be v minus u is equals to 0. So m is coming over here, so it will become 0. So it will be, in the next step I can write v is equals to u. If v is equals to u, that means there is no change in the velocity. Whatever is the initial velocity, final velocity will also be the same, whatever time has been taken. Okay, this means that object will continue move it will be continue moving with the uniform velocity u, initial velocity, throughout the time t. Okay, if u is 0, then what will happen? That means if object is at rest initially, if u is 0, then it implies that v is also equal to 0. That means if object is initially at rest, then it will remain at rest, and that is our first law. We remember first law, if the object is in motion, then it will continue with the same velocity, which is represented by this, and if the object is at rest, it will remain at rest, that is represented by this situation, this equation. Okay, so this proves these two equations are representing first law. So I can write, this proves that first law is contained in second law, right? So it is very simple, I hope, to understand. That's all for this video. Thank you very much. I hope you understood it very well.